You've actually been playing Mortal Kombat 1 wrong, and I'll explain why. This video was inspired by the Fourth Snake and Babe Ruthless, because after following a few simple tips from my podcast, their gameplay greatly improved. In fact, Babe Ruthless herself said it felt like she was playing an entirely different game. So yeah, these tips might be basic, but you'll be surprised at how quickly your gameplay improves. So without any further ado, let's begin. Step number 1, turn this setting off. I hate this setting, it is evil, and I actually despise how NetherRealm left it on by default, because I know this game was tested by pro players, so why is this setting on by default? Release check actively gets in the way of your inputs, which is why it should be off by default. But what the heck is release check anyway, and why does it give you the wrong inputs all the time? Let's hop into practice mode and I'll show you why. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm turning on this setting, I hate it so much. Okay, so to understand why this input is terrible, I gotta explain a little bit of coding to you, but it's not a lot, I promise. So when you play any video game at all, the game is checking for 3 different things every time you press a button. That's button down, button held, and button release. Or in other words, when I press triangle, the game is checking. Did I press it? Yes. Am I holding it? Yes or no. Did I release it yet? Yes or no. Literally, anytime you press a button in any video game, the code is checking for this. And the same goes for movement. So if I hold back or I hold forward, the game is checking. Did I press back? Yes. Am I holding back? Did I release back? All that stuff, right? And the problem with release check is that when you release the button, it counts that as a new input. So for example, if you press triangle and then release triangle a moment later, release check counts that as 2 triangles, which as you might imagine can cause all sorts of problems, like getting special moves when you don't want to. Look at the inputs right there on the left hand side. I only pressed triangle once and somehow I still got the special move. If you look closer, you'll notice I did the directional inputs after the string, but I still got down back triangle. As you can see, even the game explains this, so toggle whether special moves are executed on button release, also known as negative edge. Here, I'll do it again. Only 1 triangle was pressed, yet somehow I got the special move anyway. This is why you don't want negative edge on. It can give you extra inputs all the time for no reason. Listen, I'm not saying nobody benefits from this input, but I am saying 99% of people do not benefit from this input. And also, it actively gets in the way of what you really want. Oh, and also your hit confirms go out the window too, because maybe you just want to do the input for the special move, but you're waiting to see if it lands to actually do the button to make the attack come out. But as mentioned earlier, negative edge can get in the way of that and give you the wrong thing anyway, like right here. Because once again, when you release a button, it counts that as a button press. So if your special move happens to be the same input as your string, the game might give you the input anyway, despite the fact that you never pressed the extra button for that special move, just the string. But release check don't care, it gets in the way all the time. And in past games, it was even stronger, where if you walked backward and pressed forward square, that would actually count as an input, but it seems like now that's not actually the case. I think release check is actually toned down in this game. It's not nearly as big of a problem, but it is still a problem, so get rid of it. Step number 2, the input window. Change this setting to medium or possibly even short, because this will prevent you from getting special moves by accident when you just want regular attacks. So for example, maybe you duck a high attack, then go for forward triangle, and the game thinks you wanted down forward triangle, because that's the inputs you did. But of course that's not what you wanted. Nobody wants to do raw special moves, so by changing the input window, the game will actually forget that you crouched a moment earlier and just give you forward triangle like you wanted, instead of down forward triangle. Once again, let's hop over to practice mode and I'll explain in more detail. Right now, the input window timing is set to long, and for beginners, this could be helpful. And when I say beginners, I mean brand new to fighting games, because the game is actually holding on to your inputs for a bit longer. So if I do back forward and then square a bit slower than some players, because maybe my fingers aren't as fast, right? I'm a new player, so I can't do the special move inputs very quickly. In that one scenario, it is okay to have a longer input timing, but trust me, eventually that's gonna start working against you. For example, let's say Reptile just threw an attack right in front of my face, but it barely missed because I walked outside its range. Well, now I want to do forward 1-2 to punish him with a full combo, like forward 2, down back 1, get a combo going, right? But the issue is I just pressed back to avoid his attack and then forward square. So guess what the game thinks I want? Back forward square. because the input timing is too long. You want to reduce this because that way you never get a special move by mistake. Once again, I recommend either medium medium, or even short. But for some people, short can be way too quick. I personally love short because I never get a special move by accident. However, at the same time, even with the medium setting, I never got a special move by mistake. I just like to reduce the chances as much as possible, right? I want to be fighting the opponent and not the game. This advice is more optional, but it really will improve your gameplay in the long run. Unlike release check, this setting can actually be beneficial to brand new players, as in your first fighting game, right? You've never played anything before like Mortal Kombat, so this setting could help you. However, for everybody else who's played even one fighting game before, I do think this setting gets in your way. Because just like with the input window and release check options, this setting can cause you to get the wrong attack. So when you turn off easy inputs, you prevent yourself from getting the wrong inputs. So one last time, let's hop into practice mode and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, input shortcuts are not the biggest sin, right? They're not going to get in your way 9 times out of 10. Everything should be hunky-dory, but even so, you can sometimes get the wrong input, and that's because the special moves are easier to get in nature, which sounds like a good setting on paper, and a lot of the time it can be. In fact, I know some competitive players that leave this setting on, but that's because their character does not have any inputs that overlap. So for example, their string might have forward square in it, but they don't have a down forward square special move, which means they can micro duck a throw and then do forward 1 without the fear of getting the wrong thing, or a special move by accident, in other words. But for a lot of characters, that's not the case. Take Katana for example. One of her special moves is down back triangle. So if I duck a high attack and then try to whiff punish with triangle, I might get the special move by accident if I leave the simple input setting on. Now, will this happen often? No, I would say 9 times out of 10 you get what you want, but even that 1 in 10 situation could lead to the wrong input, and if the opponent blocks this special move, I'm dead. But if they block this, I'm completely fine. So obviously I don't want this move, I want this move, right? And little things like that are a big deal to me because, as mentioned earlier, I want to be fighting my opponent and not fighting the game itself. And there you have it, everyone. Now you're playing Mortal Kombat 1 properly. Change these basic settings and you'll experience way more fun playing this game. But let me know any other tips you have in the comment section down below. Let's get better together. Keep in mind, I don't hate these settings, I just think many of them should be off by default because they actively get in the way of what most players want. So if you're one of those crazy people that prefers negative edge on, please let me know why. I'm actually really curious, I'm not being sarcastic. I want to know the benefits of release check being on if there are any, because in my experience it only gets in the way. But thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton, and then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs. Did you know I'm partnered with GamerSupps? That's right, and guess what? To make things even better, if you use code UNDERDOG or simply click my link down below in the pinned comment or video description, you also get an amazing discount on every purchase. GamerSupps taste amazing, it has 0 sugar, and they have fantastic merch and cups as well. In fact, if enough people watching use code UNDERDOG, then I'm gonna get my own creator cup with GamerSupps. So yeah, there's never been a better time to buy GamerSupps. You get a free cup with the purchase of any tub, and you get an amazing discount too. Try GamerSupps today.